Australian birth stories acknowledge that the practice, ceremony and sharing of birth knowledge has occurred across the lands and waterways of Australia since time immemorial. We acknowledge the First Nations and language groups where these stories have occurred and pay our respects to elders past and present. As we continue to share stories together on these unceded lands, we will try to listen to the knowledge and practice that has always existed here and consider how we might tell our birth stories in response to country, paying our deepest respects to the traditional custodians of many places across Australia that our children will know as home.
Welcome to Australian Birth Stories. Here's your host, Sophie Walker.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Australian Birth Stories podcast. Thanks so much for joining me. Each week I'll be bringing you mothers telling their stories of childbirth. Let's get into today's show. Welcome back to the show for episode 500. This one's a little bit different. I'm not interviewing anyone today. I thought I would just recap the last few years and share with you a little bit more about the journey. So thank you so much for listening. I know some of you listening right now have been listening from the very beginning, and some of you have perhaps only just fallen pregnant and been referred by their midwife or obstetrician or good friend to get onto the podcast. So thank you to everyone, whether you're here for the first time or you've been here since the beginning. Over 7 years ago, I always used Louis as a measuring stick because he's 8 and he was about 1-ish, I think, at the time, when I thought I would just start recording a few birth stories because I loved listening to a lot of American ones that I was enjoying, and I just thought it would be fun. And I was working part-time, I had 2 kids, and I literally have no business experience and never imagined that I would be here talking to you on episode 500. It's so wild. And I was hoping we were going to crack 18 million downloads for this episode, but we're not quite there. So we're just shy of 18 million downloads, which again is just a mind-blowing number that I can't comprehend. But it's been such an honor and a joy to record these episodes. It's been so special to meet virtually with all of these mothers and their partners from around Australia and bring them to you each week to help you prepare both physically and emotionally, mentally, to get you ready for your own birth. I know a lot of student midwives are listening because it's certified professional development for midwives to listen. So, and birth workers, we've got such a varied audience, and I just love bringing these episodes to you each week. So after finishing my double degree in health science and international relations, I just met Jonathan and we moved to the UK and we lived there for a few years. And then when I returned, I did a Masters of Public Health, still with the intention to work in international health, but again, didn't quite get there then. Ended up working for Peter Mac for a while and worked in cancer research before having my first child. And then I returned to them after a maternity leave, but ended up sort of slowly, I stayed in cancer for a while. I also worked for the Cancer Council in between kids, but never ever thought I would run my own business. Never thought I'd write a book. So a lot of amazing things have come out of this, but none of it could be possible if nobody was listening. So the fact that we've built such a beautiful community, I know a lot of social media accounts and things get a lot of negativity, and I really just feel like over the last 7 years, there really hasn't been a lot on my page. So we've created a really beautiful space, and I feel very, very proud of what we've all done collectively. And I feel like everybody listens and then wants to be on the show. So we've got over 7,000 applications. So just so well loved, and feels very gushy now, this chat. To be honest, I've put off doing it because I'm like, it'll just be me prattling along. But I wanted to mark this. I'm not very good at celebrating milestones in the business, and we certainly have come a long way. So I think after the podcast gained some momentum, the first product that I made was the Postpartum Life After Birth series. So I learnt to navigate all of that, and then got some business coaching and support along the way. That was so well received. We also then made the breastfeeding PDF guide, and then obviously moved on to make the birth class and the cesarean birth class, and then welcome to the first trimester. And we've had thousands and thousands of people purchase these courses, which is just so beautiful to know people are educating and empowering themselves. And a huge shout out to all the incredible midwives, obstetricians, physios, doulas who've contributed, IBLCs who've contributed to those courses, because I don't pretend to be an expert in these areas, but I've gone to the best of the best to collate them and bring you these all-star cast courses. And I love to say, there's heaps of courses out there now, particularly after COVID. I feel like there's a lot of different options. So I'm so honoured that people have chosen to educate and empower themselves with Australian Birth Stories products. But I'm bringing you the best of the best. So you're not just getting one healthcare professional's experience and expectations for your birth. You're getting the best of this collective wealth of knowledge. So from then we created the beautiful book, The Complete Australian Guide to Pregnancy and Birth, which I co-wrote with Jodie Wilson. That has been so incredibly well received. We've sold over 30,000 copies, and we're just in the finishing stages of editing the Complete Guide to Postpartum, which comes out in July 2025. So it's been such an incredible journey. I feel so lucky to have been able to build this business to support my family. I've obviously gone on and had another child in between all of that, and to be able to work from home and produce this beautiful podcast is it's incredibly special. So without going on and on and on, it's funny that it should come to 500 episodes now, because I'm actually going through every episode of the podcast at the moment and doing some editing work. And I'm hearing snippets of really old episodes. And I know I do laugh on the show when people say, oh, so I came across the podcast and I went right back to episode 1. Gosh, my confidence and my equipment and all sorts was very, very rustic back then. And I used to do it late at night in the car too. So it was, tired, a couple of tired women talking, really it was. So funny to go through. And I did find a funny little clip that I'll share with you now of Nick. For those of you who don't know, Nick does the intro when he was about 2 or 3, which we've kept over the years. And then I was obviously recording an outro and he was sitting on my lap. So he chimes in with some funny stuff, and he's now 10. So I played it to him. He's like, oh, Mum, it's so cringe. So funny. Lovely to have that recorded though. So I guess really all this is to say is thank you so much for listening and helping support the show reach the levels that it has. And I can't wait to see what comes of the next 7 years or the next 500 episodes. I heard somebody say the other day that most podcasts don't go beyond 10 episodes. I feel like every man and his dog's got a podcast at the moment. But the fact that we've gotten to 500 episodes, nearly 18 million downloads, and we've remained in the top kind of 5 over the years. So we've stayed relevant and stayed in that top spot. So thank you for listening. And if you haven't already left a review for the show, perhaps now is the time. That can be your gift to me. A quick review about what you love about the show. And I look forward to bringing you another birth story episode on Monday for 501.
Thanks for listening to today's episode.
If you'd like to see photos of Lacey's birth, head over to...
I can't actually remember it.
If you'd like to see some more pictures of Lacey's birth, you can head over to the Australian Birth Stories website at australianbirthstories.com. And Nick, do you want to ask everyone to leave us a review?
What do we have to say for that?
Please leave us a review in iTunes. It would really help the show's ratings.
Can I say something else instead of that?
What would you like to say?
Did you know that the podcast just turned 1?
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you want to say to the podcast?
Thanks for having a good day.
I thought you were going to say happy birthday to the podcast.
Ooh. Next out.